Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it! So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and Ruben.
I'm ready.
All right, Rube, how's it going over there?
Very good. Welcome to the worst of the best of the podcast. Did I say that right?
No, you did not. Okay, wait, slow down. You said, welcome to the worst of the... What? How did you even say that?
Guys, welcome to the worst of the best podcast.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Is that better?
I miss you, Rube. I miss you.
Yeah, where have you been?
Well, I'm in Quebec. I'm 3 hours ahead of you now. We're no longer doing live broadcasts anymore just because of... We just don't have that fancy schmancy equipment that Joe Rogan has to do that very well. So we're just going to Skype call each other and talk and still release these episodes so the people will get to still hear our voices, Rube.
Oh, we do what we can for the people. We may never be as fancy as Joe Rogan because when you think fancy, you think Joe Rogan.
That's right. When you think quality, you think Joe Rogan. When
you think health, you might think of these 10 things.
That's right, Ruben. So 10 ridiculous health myths. Redonkulous. But science, Ruben, says they're actually true.
Okay. Let's get started then.
Let's get going. Now, Ruben, when I was a baby, when I was a young child, I was allergic to a lot of food. I don't know if you recall this or have heard this before.
Okay, it sounds maybe vaguely familiar, but go ahead.
I don't think you were born yet. Like, I was a toddler, and but I was allergic to a lot of food, and so I was raised on, for many months, carrots and watermelon.
Wow.
It's interesting, Ruben. I have the best eyesight in the family.
It's amazing.
Okay.
I was not raised on carrots and watermelon, which, by the way, is my favorite African food.
What's that, carrots?
No, watermelon.
Oh, they have a lot there.
That's where it's from.
I didn't know that. Really?
It was brought over by slaves.
Well, bless them, because I love watermelon.
It's just a little tidbit I put out there. Anytime I mention people, like, really?
No, it sounds like you're being offensive. But you're not. You're literally saying watermelon's from Africa.
Yeah, if you actually read about why we don't know why watermelon's from Africa, that's the offensive part.
Right.
So that's maybe for a different episode.
Yeah, so the 10 best slave foods.
I refused. I refuse.
Okay. Carrots, Ruben, do contain many compounds that do improve the health of your eyes, including beta-carotene, go figure. It helps the body make vitamin A, which then in turn helps your eyes to convert light into signals understood by the brain. I used to think it helped your eyes be whatever stronger, the surface part of the eyes, but it actually it helps the processing of sight to be better. Converts the light into signals that the brain can better understand. So vitamin A is what is directly responsible for your ability to see in low light. Deficiency of vitamin A can lead to a degeneration of the cornea, that's the physical part, which may then cause permanent blindness. So get your vitamin A, boys and girls.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you remember the episode of Gilligan's Island?
No, do I remember?
Do you?
Well, I've seen every episode. I just don't recall how did Gilligan mess up the rescue of this one episode?
Well, I think somehow they got some type of radioactive seeds or something like that.
Sure.
Washed up on shore or something. I don't know. They grew some food there, some carrots, and they were ginormous big carrots. And I think Gilligan ate the carrots, and he could see, because, there's a ship coming, From binoculars, nobody could see anything, but he could see so far.
But what good would that do? That he can see a ship so far away that they can't signal the ship?
I don't think it did any good. Maybe just more frustration.
Yeah, it just adds to the frustration.
Uh-huh.
That's great, Gilligan, that you can see a ship 100 nautical miles away, which then disproves the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, I just Googled it. The 71st episode, but radioactive carrots.
What I love about the internet, Ruben, the internet doesn't make up this information. Somebody provided this information to the web.
I know. Somebody type this out.
Like, that's what I love about Google. People have to understand that when you Google something, it doesn't automatically appear. A human being with their own brain had to input that information. So if the Google was up for me and you to input information, I don't think I would ever have gotten to the Gilligan Island synopsis anytime soon. But somebody...
No.
But somebody
That's low on the ladder. Yeah.
But somebody took that time, and probably more than one person.
I'm impressed I remember. I probably haven't seen the show in 30 years.
I just could never figure out how the professor could make a radio out of bamboo and sand, but they couldn't fix the hole in the boat.
All right, so moving forward.
Yeah, number 9.
Eating just before sleeping gives you nightmares.
So again, these are myths that are true. So when we read the headline, it's already true, and we'll tell you how it is. Go ahead, Rube.
Eating a late meal can give you nightmares. Sounds like inaccurate advice from that one guy you knew. Many studies have found a link between eating late and bad dreams. Though we don't understand the exact mechanisms behind why that is, it might be due to our metabolism being overly active when we go to sleep immediately after dinner, which could make the brain more restless and result in increased activity. It's not just when you eat, but what you eat also. Some food items are especially good at inducing nightmares, like dairy or spicy foods.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was prone to nightmares as a kid, like heavily prone. Not so much anymore as an adult, but maybe that's just because I don't snack before bed. I don't know.
We just had a lot of spicy food growing up.
We never ate spicy
Ever.
food. We never
Ever.
did. Could you picture Dad ever eating anything spicy?
I remember the first time I had salsa. It blew my mind.
Right. Much like our powdered milk experience. We talked about it in one of our episodes where we ate powdered milk and we had, normal 2% milk from the carton as a kid at a friend's house. We thought we were drinking the nectar of cows. Yeah, it was like, I remember saying to my friend, how can you drink this? It's so thick. I thought I was drinking, flavored glue. It was so thick.
Wow.
So, Ruben, does your wife ever complain about being cold?
When my wife and I first started dating, she would mention that she was cold, and I'd give her my sweater or get a blanket or turn up the heat in the car. It just kept on happening every day, every single time. I'm cold. And I'm like, all right, this seems to be like a recurring theme in your life. Why don't you just dress appropriately?
Yeah, cover up, Faith. My goodness.
Anyways, so yeah, it happens. Your wife as well?
In fact, today in the house, we got the air conditioning on the house here, and it's working, but it's not cold. But Becky is often in a blanket in the living room, and I'm like, it's 30 degrees outside. How do you enjoy this air? But, Ruben, science has shown that this isn't just girls being weak. Researchers found that comfortable temperature for women is about 2.5 degrees Celsius or 4.5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than it is for men. So they like to be between 24 to 25 degrees Celsius. And it's because of the hormone estrogen, which slows down the flow of blood to the tips of the toes and fingers during cold months. And that is also why ovulating women tend to feel colder than usual.
Well, I'll be sure to mention that. You must be ovulating.
Yeah, so now we can ask when they're cranky and cold if they're on. We have two opportunities. Honey, are you ovulating or are you just hungry? Or are you just cold? Or are you just...
I will use that, by the way. I will use that.
We know what's unfair.
Life.
Well, yeah, in general. But the thing is, you and I, and correct me if I'm wrong, but men, in general, we're not allowed to be grumpy. We have no reason.
I know.
If I'm ever grumpy or having a bad day, my wife will be like, Ryan, what's your problem? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just feeling lousy today. I'm having a bad day or whatever. That's not a good enough reason. It's like, well, buck up and man up. But if a girl's feeling lousy, it's because she's, honey, I've been with the kids all day, or it's that time of month, or they have legitimate reasons to be feeling not positive. Men do not have reasons to not feel positive. Just throwing that out there. Any of our listeners want to disagree with me, send me a message.
Sounds like you understand it perfectly, Ryan.
Ruben, how smart are you?
Enough that I sometimes exercise. Do you know why, Ryan?
Why?
Exercise makes you smarter.
Do tell.
Sure. If you look into some recent research, Ryan, on the subject, maybe if you started exercising, you would.
Sure.
You would find that it's not wrong. Exercising releases a protein called irisin, which improves the neural connections between different parts of your brain, as well as your memory and thinking skills. Moreover, it also reduces the risk of Alzheimer's and other types of dementia. I would talk a lot more about it, but just in case you haven't been exercising.
You know what killed me? Well, you know that I'm an avid runner and I do exercises, but I appreciate that. In fact, you have criticized me posting any kind of fitness on my Facebook.
No. I didn't criticize you posting. All I said is I hide the Runtastic, whatever it's called, posts.
No, that's fair. Well, not only do you not need my permission to do whatever you want on your Facebook, that's fair. I understand.
I'm happy for you.
Well, thanks, Rube. But it's fair. I haven't been posting it lately. I'll tell you why, because I actually, on my wrist right here, I have a Fitbit. The Fitbit tracks my steps and my running. I love my Fitbit. I don't post so I did a run yesterday and the day before. I didn't post the results because it was easy on the app because the app just has it on the phone. Like, I'm sure the Fitbit has the same app on the phone, but I just don't bother. I finish my run, hit end, and I like the tally that it gives me throughout the day that I don't bother posting the run because I'm working throughout the day, if that makes sense. So my day ends at the end of the day. So that's how I look at it. Yeah. You're spared. You can, if anyone's listening that is on my Facebook, rest assured Ryan's still running even though I don't post anymore. Just wanted to let all my listeners know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not bothered by it.
I know.
Well, but I think it's one of those things where if you hear, you're going to remember it. Sure.
Ruben, we're talking about spicy food, right? We're talking about we were not raised on spicy food.
No.
Did you know, Ruben, that spicy food does help you lose weight? Now, I could argue, without going further into this, that if it's so spicy, you just might not eat very much.
Sure. I recently was given a spicy... Oh, yeah, my in-laws came by. They brought me some... I forget what the spice was, but really spicy potato chips. And I do like spicy, and I do like potato chips. And so bless their hearts, they brought some spicy potato chips.
Sure.
It was so spicy.
Right.
There's no way that people are like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Right.
But yeah, I do like spicy. But I guess the theory is that if you eat spicy potato chips, it should even each other out.
Well, yeah. Every spicy chip that you eat it just fades away. It fades away. Well, so this is how it works. When you eat spicy foods, Ruben, especially chilies, the capsaicin in it raises the metabolism rate and triggers thermogenesis, which is just a fancy word for the production of heat inside the body. So essentially it works the same way as the old wives' tale says it does by burning the fat away, except now it's backed by peer-reviewed research rather than hearsay. Now, I don't know how much spice you have to... Yeah, we're talking about the spice to bad calorie ratio. That's probably I would recommend just eating healthy, and on top of it, if you eat spicy, healthy food, then you're double dipping into the health.
For those wondering...
Capsaicin.
Say that again.
Capsaicin.
Is that really how you say that? I know this is the Google. Capsaicin.
Capsaicin.
That's creepy. Stop.
Capsaicin.
Oh, that's creepy.
Capsaicin.
Okay.
Capsaicin.
All right.
Now we know. The more you know. You didn't even exercise, and now you feel a little bit smarter because you know how to pronounce it.
Well, if I keep jogging, I'll remember that pronunciation.
And by the way, if I knew how to pronounce it, I would have not used the Google.
Ruben, does garlic do anything for you?
It helps with the toothache, brother. Garlic is actually effective at relieving toothache due to its antibacterial properties. Garlic can also provide quite a few other benefits to the body, like fighting infections, reducing blood glucose levels, and even anti-tumor properties.
Wow.
Boy, I could have used that information before I had cancer.
When were you diagnosed again? What year?
I was diagnosed 2011, but the effects of it were affecting my life, where I couldn't walk in September 2010. September to March 2nd.
I was hoping it was 2012 because that would have helped me with my CERN effect that you got pushed out of a parallel universe from having cancer to not having cancer or vice versa.
Yeah, that'd been great.
But do you put the garlic right on the tooth, or is it through your bloodstream, or...
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised by this because not too long ago I had a tooth extracted at the dentist's office, and in the cavity of where the tooth was, in my gums, they packed it full of cloves. But again, that's not a toothache. That would be the cavity. But yeah, it tasted quite great, actually, the cloves in there. I didn't really know about the toothache and garlic.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever even heard that, so... Yeah, next time you're brushing your teeth, Ruben, just throw a little bit of garlic on your mouth before you kiss the wife.
They should have garlic toothpaste.
They should have garlic. Yeah, garlic toothpaste. That would work.
Yeah, but apparently this clove oil for toothache pain is more popular, probably because of the smell.
So, Ruben, you and I work very hard. You have long days at work. You work 5 to sometimes 7 days a week. 6 days a week for sure.
Yeah.
You don't have this option as much as even I might have it on a regular work schedule that I sometimes can have. But you can, Ruben, catch up on lost sleep on weekends.
Well, that's what I did today.
Nice. Now, how did you catch up?
I usually wake up at 5:30, and I woke up at 8 today.
Nice. Was that by accident?
No, it was on purpose.
Good. Well, good for you.
Yeah, this week was a little brutal.
All right.
It was like 12, 14-hour days, 6 days a week.
So, Ruben, according to one study that looked at sleeping habits of over 38,000 Swedish adults.
Ah, the Swedes.
The Swedes. Love the Swedes. People who didn't get enough sleep every day had a higher mortality risk because, of course, they did. So, surprisingly, however, the people who caught up on their sleep, lost sleep during weekends, had the same mortality risk as those with a regular sleep schedule. So now it doesn't mean that you can stop sleeping during the week altogether and make up for it by sleeping 40 hours straight over the weekend. Though it does prove that, let's say, college kids or workers like us or night shift workers, that they can get a little bit of catching up on the weekend. Look, at the end of the day, just sleep as much as you can when you can without oversleeping. Let's say you've had a busy Monday to Friday and you've got a couple days off. They're saying go to bed early and or sleep in and catch up. And you do recover.
Interesting.
Yeah, because sometimes you hear, oh, you got to keep your same schedule, over the weekend to train your body. And they're saying, no, if you have a time off and you're tired, sleep.
Yeah.
I actually never believed it. I was like, no, when I'll sleep when I can, how I can, and it's worked throughout my life. I'm a pretty good sleeper. I can sleep 5 hours. I can sleep 7 hours. It doesn't matter, as long as I just go to bed when I go to bed and wake up when I wake up. I'm usually pretty good about functioning on an average of 6 hours a day, personally.
Huh. Sleep's interesting. It's weird. It's weird that we need sleep.
It is weird, and
it's weird that you can catch up on it.
Yeah, it is weird. Sleeping is weird. I know you've probably done it or thought of it like I have, but there'll be times where I'm about falling asleep and I think to myself, this is weird. I'm literally telling my body, let go.
I know.
You're putting yourself into a comatose state. And I know it's natural, but it's kind of a scary thought because people have died in their sleep.
Yeah, it is very vulnerable being asleep.
Well, yeah. Yeah, people could touch you. Somebody could climb in your window and you don't know it. It's terrifying. But there have been house break-ins where people have literally woken up with somebody standing over their bed.
Yeah. That actually happened to me. Not a break-in, but I was taking a course in a different city. I asked people if they knew anybody that I could stay at their house, and I did. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm not making this up. This is completely true. This is as an adult. I woke up. I was sleeping on a mattress, like an air mattress in the living room. I woke up. The host of the house was sitting on a kitchen chair, staring at me. This is true. With headphones in, listening to heavy metal.
Nice.
In the dark. And I mean, the chair was right to the bed, just staring at me.
Wow. Where was this?
Sure, it's New Brunswick, city of Moncton. When we were living near Machie, I went to a course there because I wanted to start my own business, and there was a course there that I wanted to go.
What was he doing?
I have no idea.
All right.
And I was in the fog asleep. And, I didn't sleep there again.
No. Wow. So, Ruby, do you ever hear people say, "Oh, the weather's changing. I can feel it in my joints"?
Sure, that's the oldest cliche in the book there.
A lot of older people love to say this one too. I feel a storm coming.
Who was the first to say that?
Well, somebody was, because a study has found, Ruben, that changes in barometric pressure, room temperature, and humidity have a noticeable impact on arthritis pain. And the more they change, the worse the pain gets. These parameters vary most during monsoon seasons, which is why there are many more medical visits for arthritis during this time than any time of the year. So if you live in a monsoon-riddled area, arthritis people should not live in places like Florida, ironically.
That is weird. So don't grow old in the monsoon areas. It's just for the young guys. Weird.
You like eating, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
Why don't you talk about the next one?
If you have a heavy dinner,
or supper,
makes you fat.
Make sure you say supper as well. Some people It's funny, and I say that because some people consider dinner lunchtime. I know. So last meal of the day.
Last meal of the day.
Yeah.
People who have over 33% of their daily caloric intake in the evening have a much higher chance of being overweight, as opposed to have their heaviest meal earlier in the day, like breakfast. That a heavier breakfast, or any breakfast really, lowers your chance of being obese.
Supper time. I love the food at supper, right? Breakfast is there's only so much you can have at breakfast. Like, I don't know why. Here's the funny thing. Why don't you just eat whatever you want whenever you want? Like, there's no rule that says you can't have a turkey dinner at 8, 9 in the morning.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the morning, something fresh.
And you're rushed. You're rushed. I know for me, and I know for you too, do you have time to sit there and make a huge meal?
No.
So I think that's what supper does, is people have time to make that bigger meal. They're just saying, look, don't overdo it at supper, that's all.
Now, this one, I want you to go over, because I've heard that it makes you sick. I've heard it doesn't make you sick. There's probably something to it. And that is, of course, the cold.
The cold does actually make you sick, is what the study has found. Oh, so the cold weather.
Yes.
Not the cold. My apologies. So, yeah, the temperature cold. If it's cold outside, put a jacket on, you'll get sick. Okay. Apparently, this is true. So, cold weather, Ruben, doesn't actually make you sick, because we know that having a cold is like, it's a virus. But it's complicated, because the frigid weather does have a lot to do with it, but it's the virus that causes the sickness. Even if the cold weather itself can't make you sick, flu viruses actually thrive in cooler temperatures. So they absolutely love low humidity too. So combine that with the fact that they're able to survive outside their human hosts for longer periods in cooler environments, you have the perfect recipe for a good old flu epidemic. So moreover, our bodies also react in a different way when it's cold outside, making the common cold even worse. The immune response in the nasal cavity doesn't work as well at lower temperatures, though we don't quite understand why.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is interesting. The temperature itself is not what's making you sick. So, like, if you just went inside a freezer that was a vacuum-sealed freezer, you're not going to get a cold virus. But introduce the virus in that temperature, your body has a harder time fighting it. And the virus itself thrives in that cooler temperature outside of your body. Put it this way, hot temperature, because you hear that too, like you live in the desert, you're probably not going to catch a cold, because those viruses don't like the heat.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Put on your jacket, honey, you'll catch a cold. That's the debunked myth. The jacket has nothing to do with it. The virus likes the cold, and I'm going out to meet the virus, whether I have a jacket on or not.
Yeah. Well, I hope to remember this cold season.
So, Ruben, what is the worst one? And I think for the worst one for me, because these are all quote-unquote scientifically studied so far as we know to be true, these myths that we hear, or we've heard through the grapevine or whatever.
I have a few worse ones, but I got to pick one, though.
Just one. I think for me, the worst one is the one I would apply to my life the least. Like the one that I would be like, even though it's true, like I would definitely use the weekend to catch up on my sleep. I'm sure if I had arthritis, the monsoons would affect my, joints. I agree you shouldn't eat a lot before bedtime in general. You should, not do that. So all that stuff is, so the one that I'm like, least interested in even applying or trying is the garlic on the toothache.
Yeah. Maybe when I have a toothache, I'll be interested.
Okay.
But for me, it is eating spicy food to help lose weight. Like, I've never heard of the spicy food diet to lose weight.
I wouldn't recommend it to lose weight per se, but I'm not opposed to eating spicy food, and why not have it burn some calories at the same time? It's lower on my list too, but I would rather eat a spicy food than apply garlic to my tooth because I have a dental plan. I can just go to the dentist.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And remember, in front of every silver lining, there's a cloud, and Ruben and I are here to help you find it. Thanks for listening.